Hey, what's going on, everybody? Let me get some music going on here. Alrighty. Alrighty, we ready to go. Turn it up just a little bit. This is your boy, Dream Talk 100 on Dream Talk Radio. Check me out on Instagram and Twitter on Dream Talk 100. Hey, how's going on, everybody? Here today, been a minute since I did another recording. I promise y'all videos are coming up. Been real busy. Good things have been going on in my life. I don't know if it's because I started a YouTube or whatever, but I really want to get into this subject that I've been trying to record. I want to say it in last week, but I wanted to make sure that everybody was up to par. So, have anybody seen the movie Get Out? Have everybody seen the movie Get Out? If you have not seen the movie Get Out, please go and check that movie out. That's what we're going to be discussing today on Dream Talk Radio. So I want to get everybody apart on what's going on with the movie Get Out. So just to remind y'all, this is a spoilers alert. So if you ain't seen the movie, please do not watch this video. So let's get right into it. One of the favorite parts of that movie is called the sunken place. It's the main character is Chris, and throughout the movie he get put in a sunken place. Now, yes, I hear other people talking about this movie, and they only address the racial issue in this movie. But I'm gonna say one thing to you. It's much deeper than that. It's much deeper than that. And where it goes into the movie, where it describes why it's much deeper than racial issues. Not to say that racial issues is not a main or the topic that need to be discussed. I'm not knocking that, but I'm saying though, from a spiritual level, that sunken place in that movie is very, 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 very important. Now let's go into it. Let's talk about the sunken place and what it is. That sunken place represent what I said I was going to do a video on my I think my first podcast, and that was the subconscious. Work with me. The subconscious. That's what the sunken place is. It is. And we can go into what is the subconscious. People, the subconscious, you could consider that as a part of yourself that you do not see. It will be more of your shadow self, the darker side of yourself, which is not the darker side of yourself, and the shadow self is not considered that the bad side of you. When we talk about the shadow self and the darker self, we're talking about things that you're not conscious of. So you have a conscious side of yourself, you have an unconscious side of yourself, you have a subconscious side of yourself. So really the darker, and let me rephrase that. Let's say that the side that you don't know about yourself, that will be considered your unconscious side of yourself. But with the subconscious is more like the recorder of your life. It was like the book of your life with your Akashic records. And with the Akashic records and the subconscious, it's always recording whether you conscious of or unconscious of things that's going on in your life. So, with that being said, that's what the subconscious represent. It's a Akashic records that records things that goes on into your life, whether you paying attention to it or not. So like I was saying in the last one, if you're asleep and you have a TV on and it's displaying a message or whatever through the TV or commercial, whatever, your Akashic records subconscious is recording that. It's recording everything through your five senses that's registering through the mind, not the brain, but the mind, and also your emotions. It's recording that. So it's very key that you pay attention to the mind and the emotions. So that's what the subconscious represent. Now let's go back into the movie where they talk about the sunken place. I'm gonna play these characters out because these characters are very important. And the sunken place in that movie, it was an interaction between Chris, which is the main character, the black guy, and the mother. I don't know who saw the movie. I'm not gonna really describe the movie in this video. I'm just gonna go on to it. I'm assuming you saw it already. So he's having a dialect with the mother, and she put him under this. She hypnotized him, so he's under hypnosis. So during that, if you listen to the conversation, in order for her to hypnotize him, she had to attack his emotions, subconscious. Because earlier in that movie, if you think about it, they knew he was smoking cigarettes and he had bad nerves. When he was at the table and he went to go and visit the parents and he was tapping on the table and he was smoking cigarettes, they knew right then and there that he had an addiction. And they was trying to say, okay, let's help you. Let's help get rid of the addictions by putting you through this hypnostic. And he was like, nah. Now, that was very important because I'm going to tell you during the sunken place how they get you and how people, you got to watch people around you because people will attack you. Not just physically, mentally, and spiritually, really without them knowing through their subconscious. They're not even knowing they're attacking you. But it's up to you as the being to know when people are attacking you. Now, in this movie, it was deliberate. They was attacking him to try to take over his body or take over his brain or whatever. But you got a lot of people out here that may be attacking you, not even know it. So let's get into the meat of the movie. So they know he have addiction, know he have a problem. And when she sat him down in a chair to do the hypnosis, she brought up a dark side of his past. Very important. Very family, very, very, very important. She brought up a dark side of his past. Now I'm gonna say it with the subconscious, and I tell everybody because I have went through it, especially when I moved in with myself and was able to be by myself to deal with certain things that I didn't deal with as a child. And this is what happened with Chris. Chris had an issue where his mother died, and he thought he could have did something about it, and he didn't. So what most people do when they go through a tragic thing like that in their life, they tend to throw it in the back seat. When you do that and you don't face the problems that you go through, you tend to throw things into your subconscious, which means that even if you ignore it, it's still a part of you and it's still an issue that you have to deal with, because if you don't, that issue will come back and haunt you just like it did Chris in the movie. Now, just like it did Chris in the movie, and end up putting him in a sunken place. And that's what we don't want to be at, people. We don't want to let things go through our childhood or our past without dealing with it first to go forward with our future. So therefore we can enjoy and be in the present moment. Understand that. That is very key. So with him, by him not dealing with things in his childhood, not talking to people, putting it past him, he went to addiction. And addiction can be anything. You know, everybody just don't go on drugs. Addiction can be shopping habits, food habits, eating a lot and stuff like that. They noticed that he had bad nerves, but he didn't even know why he had bad nerves, because everything that was going on through his life, he was putting it in the backseat into his subconscious. Now, let's talk about these characters in this movie, because that is very, 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 very important with these characters in this movie. Now, when we talk about Chris, Chris was represent the soul. The mother that put him into the sunken place, she represent the subconscious. His girlfriend, which I think her name was Rose, she represent the ego, and I'm gonna explain why she represent the ego. The ego don't want to let go. They want to attach to you to get to a higher, to their purpose or whatever, a selfish purpose. That's what the ego represent. That's what his girlfriend was representing, because the girlfriend knew that it wanted to take over his body. It's good to use the ego, but you got to know when to let the ego go to you, so you can get into the heart space. So when we talk about ego is have to do with identifying with yourself. That's it. When you identify with yourself, then you need to learn how to connect with other people by identifying with yourself. So she represents the ego. She telling them, no, baby, it's okay. No, the ego will soften you, and then it'll trap you real quick. So the girlfriend represents the ego. His friend, Rob, the one that was calling him, telling him, man, you never go to what he was saying, your girlfriend's parents' house, and they're white. He was like, man, they probably gonna be in there raping you and all this other stuff, sex slave. And he was telling him that. His friend, if you notice in the movie, represent the higher self, because the friend obtained wisdom in that movie. That is very key. Rob, his friend, his black friend that was calling him, telling him what was gonna happen. That is what you call the higher self, because that's what a higher self do. And the only way to get to the higher self, you have to meditate and talk to the higher self. Now, it was one part in the movie where he had his phone and he took the flash with the phone, and one of the it was a bunch of black guys in there. There was servants and stuff like that. But what they were doing with the black bodies were they was taking the black bodies and really taking their family members or whoever are selling the bodies, so they can switch their brains into the black bodies and take it out the old white bodies and have a new and operate as a black person. And what they do is put you through hypnostics and put you in your subconscious where you don't have control of your body, and the white person took their brain and put it into the black body. They now have full control over the body. This is what you call mind control. But they do this, the movie showed it in a physical way. They do this spiritually, family. Spiritually, they do this. That is very important. That's why I'm saying this movie, people missing the meat of it. They want to talk about the racial issues, but they don't understand that how people are being under mind control. And that's how they do it. They put you in the backseat of your subconscious of things that made you, especially, you know what, I want to, especially with black people, because they've been more victimized in present time than anybody at this point. And other, I'm not going to knock down other races and stuff like that, but let me get back into this video. So it shows you mind control, brainwashing, and what it happens. You get put back into your subconscious where you don't have control of your conscience. What you conscious of, they do. That's very important. And it's what you call the sunken place. And the way they do this is through your subconscious of things that you know that hurt you, and you're not dealing with the issue. Like, for instance, if you know you can't get a job and you wake up every day, you become, let's say, an alcoholic or something, and you're drinking and you're drinking and you're drinking, and you're not dealing with the issue to understand why you are drinking. So that leaves you vulnerable. That leaves your emotions and your pores to be open for other entities to manipulate you, because you don't want to deal with yourself. If you don't want to, you got to understand this in life. And I told somebody this. You have power. It's a chakra. solar chakra in your body that gives you power, empowers confidence. That power got to go somewhere. Either it goes to you or it goes to somebody else. So it's up to you to either obtain it or it goes to somebody else. Because one thing about energy, people, is never destroyed. So that energy got to go somewhere. And that's how they end up getting Chris in the movie. Knowing that he was in this predicament and he didn't take control of his predicament or his problems. And I understand it can be scary dealing with your own problems, but this will get you to higher consciousness. So you don't be like Chris and get attacked. Now, with the black guy, when he took the flash of the black guy, and the black guy in that house, because they took over his brain and stuff like that, he was going around meeting the black people, and the black people were acting very, very weird. He like, what's wrong with these people? Not knowing that their body got took over by white people. So when he took the flash, the guy woke up, he got conscious of who he was and grabbed Chris and told him to get out. They had to snatch the black guy out and hypnotize him all over again, so that the white person, whatever took over his body, was back into the conscious realm and put him back in the subconscious. So with that being said, that black guy represent what? His intuition. And intuition is what we call our gut feeling. The whole time in the movie, he did not feel right being there, but he still was there. He didn't get out. That's why the name of the movie is Get Out. So when the guy grabbed him and like, man, get out, that was his gut feeling talking to him. So even on a physical level, people, sometimes when your intuition feel things, your gut feeling feel things, sometimes you have people come to you and remind you of what your intuition is telling you. You need to take account of that. It's so many points in this movie where he should have got out, but he didn't. And the more he kept digging into it, which is not a bad thing, because you learn more about yourself when you go through dark place like Chris, like what happened with Chris. Excuse me, people. Like what happened with Chris. So in that sunken place, the reason why the mother, which represent the subconscious, was able to put him there is because he never dealt with things as a child with his mother dying. So she attacked him through his emotions. She got him emotional. And this is very key, because for people to attack you, they're not always attacking you physically. People, work with me. People attack you mentally and spiritually, and it's up to you to be a par to understand when they are attacking you mentally and physically. And sometimes you got to understand this is where wisdom come in at. It's best for you to know these things, because sometimes people don't even know. Subconsciously, they might be doing it and not knowing what they're doing if they're used to doing it. You feel me? You know, you got parents out here that raise their kids, let them get away with things, I should say. I won't say that the parents are raising them that way, but they let the children get away with a lot of things as a toddler or whatever into adolescent. So they grow up with this type of spirit of a user spirit where they just go around and use people. And they subconsciously do this. They don't not even know what they're doing. They think it's right. It's justice. It's second nature. You need to know when people doing that. That's one of the problems I had. I was used to, growing up and Used to people attacking me physically, when I was a youth, we used to wrestle, fight, you know how things go. But as I got older, they were starting to attack my mental and my spirit. Doing what his girlfriend was doing, Rose, the ego. Stroking me all along, but really setting me up to put me in a sunken place, to take me and put me back into my subconscious. That is very key, everybody. So when you go through things in life, when you go through things in the past and it affects you emotionally, listen to me when I say this. When it affects you emotionally, it is best to either deal with it on your own or get help. There's nothing wrong with that, family. To get help to better you through the situation so you can move on with life, so you don't put yourself in a sunken place. Because that will happen. And then when you put things back into your subconscious of things that you dealt with in your past and you just try to forget about it, well, guess what? The more you ignore it, it's going to show back up again. But instead of you controlling it and making it better, guess what? Somebody else will control it and control you and put you right back into that sunken place where you like Chris in a chair and say, I can't move. And they'll take over your conscience. So that part in that movie was very important. It was very, very important to a lot of people, even myself. Even if you're not dealing with things in the past, even if you're dealing with relationship, career issues, any of that, just soak into those emotions. There's nothing wrong with it, because a lot of people don't like to be sad, and I understand it. I have no issue with that. I understand that people don't want to be sad, so they don't want to experience it. But it could be therapeutic. It could actually save your life, so it don't circle back around. Because in life, things circle back around, but it does it to teach you a higher lesson. And we need to understand that. All right, family. How long I've been on here? I think a little bit too long. So I'm going to get off. I just want to say, ending, that anything that's going on with you that affect you emotionally, deal with it. Get an understanding of it and get over it. Time is healing, everybody. Do not allow people to put you in a sunken place like Chris was. And with that, I want to say love and peace. Also, everybody, I want to hurry up and get out of here because I've been on here too long. Also, follow me on Instagram at Dream Talk 100 and Twitter Dream Talk 100. I'm still working on Facebook. I got a lot of things going on, man. I just want to say love and peace to everybody. Y'all have a safe and blessed one out there.